My name is Justin Irabor. People know me as the Vunderkind and as Mogwai. I'm a software engineer today, and right now you are watching how tech changed my life. I would say that my tech journey kind of started in 2015. Thereabouts when I became I joined the marketing team for Hotels.ng. Well, I was working in tech in one way or another. If you think about tech, I was just using tech tools for work since I was a teenager. I used to be a graphic designer for some small design shop back in the day. I took a course online. It was a content writing course, and then I became a content writer for some people in the UK and in the US. And then I got into university and needed money. So I used to do a lot of that. You take morning classes and do overnight cyber cafe. I eventually moved on to something called Nigerian Bulletin, which was one of their products. It was like if you think of Pulse as the entertainment side of things, then you can think of Nigerian Bulletin as more political and PR type. And so I worked on that for a bit, and then I became the editor-in-chief after a while. And this is when my interest in tech, purely on the technical side of things now, because you can be tech adjacent and you can be in the core tech. And I think we had a DDoS attack, right? I had no idea what that was, right? But our servers went down and we couldn't publish for, I think, 3 to 5 days, right? And we were completely stymied, which meant that I could not do anything the entire time. I knew my life was in the mercy of some developers in the Philippines. And suddenly I wanted to be the developers in the Philippines. So I did not like the idea that I did not understand why I could not work. And it meant that if this website never works, then I'm out of a job, right? And so I began looking to get closer and closer to tech, which is where my interest, I began to follow the people I thought were the influencers and the strongest voices in the tech space. And that's how I followed Mark Essien on Twitter. And so it so happened that one day Mark Essien tweeted that he was looking for a genius. So he tweeted, looking for a genius, send me a 10-word email, just subject line, right? And I did. I came for a live interview and then I got the job. I was working on a platform then, and that platform was a tech aggregator. The job to be done for that platform was to gather the pricing for the same commodity across multiple platforms. So we created a meta platform that was just aggregating the prices so that if you wanted to buy, say, a laptop, you didn't have to go check Dreamy and Konga. You check this platform and tell you the prices today from all of those platforms. It purported to use some kind of state-of-the-art comparison system, but it was just me. Waking up in the morning and looking at all those platforms and updating the prices. And, that kind of work got very tedious very quickly. My dad said he would like to have his own house, He's been actually really hands-on, so I've only been providing financial support. It's also the first house on the street. So my dad said he's going to, I don't know how he's going to do it. I think they just have to submit a request to have the street named after him. So it's going to be called Irabor Street. So he said, I don't know if it's true. But yeah, that's the purchase. And I'm also about to get a car. So in the very beginning, just the ability to pay house rent was good. Just thank God for that. You find that when you are creating, the easiest, the most intuitive things you are creating are an outcome of what you've been consuming. The kind of things that you stay with, right? Those things become your manifestations of your own output. And so what happens is that if you do not take breaks, if you just keep on churning, you begin to create X of the same. And you have this monotony in your work, right? And it doesn't allow you to distinguish yourself. It doesn't allow you to push yourself. I was reading something very recently that described artist block as your brain deciding that it no longer wants to do more of the same thing, right? So whenever you're having artist block, is that you have kind of run your mind to the metal, to the bone, right? And so you need to take a break. Have a way to recharge your creativity even while taking a break. It's a thing that you have directly or indirectly interacted with in the course of your time doing anything. And that's the point of interest map that we built at Hotels.ng. The core idea is that if you want to book a hotel, you don't start from wanting to book a hotel. It's usually something else that makes you book the hotel. The hotel is meta to something. You have a conference to attend, you are visiting a new city, you are going somewhere, but basically the hotel is just the place to stay. The points of interest are around the hotel, right? And so we we're able to triangulate points of interest to hotels, which meant that if you're going to a specific location and then you went online and then you Googled and you found data about that location, it was probably gotten from Hotels.ng's point of interest platform. So if you've ever taken a trip within Nigeria, you probably interacted with, to some degree, something that I was the lead for this project. What excites me about tech is the post-fintech world. The world, as connected as it is, it has no real native currency, and that's a real problem, right? We are separated by physical boundaries, and those physical boundaries become roadblocks on the digital highway, which means that because the US uses the US dollar and we use the Nigerian naira, in reality, we cannot transact freely. But it shouldn't be the case in the digital realm, but it is the case, right? Because those currencies are still bound, they are locked by their physical geographical locations. Right now, we are exchanging information, but we're not exchanging trade, you know? And as long as we cannot exchange trade, we cannot unlock true value. We are working together on the internet despite constraints, and it should not be. We should work without constraints. And so I look forward to a post-fintech world where information moves, commerce moves as freely as information moves. As easily as it is for you to download a video, download a PDF, it should be easy for you to make a transaction with anyone, and the rails are not as complex as possible. And so if you're the kind of person who, one, you are creative and you are analytical and you can sit with problems for long enough, you probably want to be in tech, right? But also those skills also lend themselves to to the creative space. So just like I tell people, like your talent, it's really just a biological process in your head that predisposes you towards something, right? You should listen to yourself and know what it is that you feel a certain affinity for, right? So that's your thing. So instead of waiting for the opportunity, just get doing, right? If you designed your life that way, where is that I would rather do nothing else, right? This is what I want to do with my life. And then you figured out, how can I make this thing that I'm interested in? How can I make a career out of it? How can I make this the one thing that sustains me through life? You're probably halfway there. And I am not taking away from the fact that, this is very idealistic. Sometimes it's not up to you as a person. Sometimes, the odds are against you and you just have to do something that you don't want to do to make a living.